Yo guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we are going to be going back to a video I made a year ago, almost a little over a year ago, and that being the best Alliance Battle Extreme and Legends characters that you can go ahead and build in Marvel Future Fight. So we're going to go through all of them, as many as I possibly can. I'm going to try to recommend ones for free to play, ones for meta, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm going to be listing them all. I'm going to show you which characters are good, and how to play them, how their rotation is, and so on and so forth. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So for the first character, it is of course going to be Mephisto. Mephisto, ever since he got his Master of Hell uniform, he has been one of, if not the best in Alliance, Battle Extreme, and Legends. He's really, really good and very, very easy to play. However, his one downside is that he's a native tier 3, so he is going to be extremely expensive for new players specifically. Free to play can of course build him because you can get him for free, and of course the tier 3, tier 4 materials are of course for free. His CTP of choice, he has 3 different CTPs that you can go ahead and provide for him. You can provide him a Judgment, you can provide him a Rage, or you can provide him a Competition. Judgment and Rage, both of them have to be my team, because you will be able to use him in both PvP and PvE hybrid. However, Competition specifically locks him to just PvE content. Keep in mind, the competition will need a mighty, because it's quite useless just without a mighty. So do try to get a mighty, and then if you want him full PvE, this is the way to go. So yeah, you give him a mighty competition, mighty rage, or mighty judgment, whichever fits your needs. Of course, getting his artifact will be a plus, considering how it increases his elemental damages by 16%, which is really, really good. ISO sets, of course, it's just going to be the first 3 here: Hawkeye's Power of Angry Hulk and Overdrive. After that, you provide the required ISO set and make sure these are all set to, of course, energy attack, and all basic attack increase. So yeah, that's how to get the most amount of damage out of him. As for his type, you can of course increase it if you want to, but keep in mind you're going to be using Blast, not Universal, because his base uniform is a Blast. Since he's also a destruction, you're going to need a sorry about that. You're going to need a destruction-based character. So as you can see, I provided him Apocalypse, since Apocalypse is also a destruction character, but since he's only tier 3 level 80, he's not at his full bar. If I were to tier 4 him, he was going to be like this, completely full bar. So yeah, of course you're going to try to get a full bar at tier 4, use a tier 4 destruction here. If you cannot, use the closest destruction-based character. So yeah. As for his character gears, of course, you're going to give him energy attack because that is his damage type. So yeah. And of course, as for maxing out stats, you're going to need skill cooldown, and then ignore defense, crit damage, and then dodge. That's the 5 that you're going to need to max them out. After all of that, we are going to show you how to play Mephisto. Mephisto is easy. He's not too hard. When you start, you are going to press 2 to swap into this form, his other form. Because, give me a second, let me disable this. Because this is his PvP form. So you're not going to play with this. You're going to switch to his second form, being this one, where he's like really large. And then after that, you're going to leave skill 2 alone. You're not going to need skill 2 after this. His rotation is very, very simple. It is literally spam 1, 3, 4, 5. So literally just like this. That's his rotation. It's very, very, very easy. His rotation is just spam. And when you have your tier 3, tier 4 ready, you're just going to do the same thing, but then add those to the end. That's his rotation. He's really good, and I do highly, highly recommend you try to get him whenever you possibly can. He's an easy character, he's very fun, and he's sort of expensive, but however, he's still a very, very good character for you to go ahead and get. So yeah, that is for the first character. For the second character that we're going to be seeing, it is of course going to be Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, I do not need to put too much introduction onto him. We all know how good he is, and he's a very reliable native tier 2, and he's really, really good. As far as I know, he is a single cost native tier 2. If I'm not, yes, he's a single cost native tier 2, so he's also cheaper than a regular native tier 2. So, of course, you're going to need his latest uniform. You're going to give him a rage, might preferred, of course, but a rage, of course, a normal rage will work. ISO set, same as Mephisto. Every character listed here will have the same top 3 ISO sets. So yeah, do keep that in mind. As for his artifact is also very good to have, as you can see. There's a lot of good stuff in here. So if you were to able to get it, then this is going to be good. However, it is not required. So yeah, type, of course, if you want to, you can go ahead and level it up. Of course, level 4 is the sweet spot, but it is up to you if you want to max it out or not. The tier 3, the tier 4 striker, it is of course going to be a justice character. It will not follow whatever his latest uniform is. It will always follow the base. Because his base is a hero and not a villain, we're getting justice. So yeah, going to provide a justice character. I have given him Spider-Gwen. And then, of course, for his character gear, you're going to give him energy attack. And for the same, maxing out skill cooldown, and then ignore defense, and then crit rate, crit damage, and then dodge. Of course, these 4, you're going to try to max them out. If you cannot, of course, you can go ahead and use, you can go ahead and use the 4th gear option by changing the option. So yeah. As for his rotation is slightly a little confusing, but you will get the hang of it after you eventually know how to play him. So his rotation is 1 cancel to 5, cancel to 2, cancel to 3, cancel to 4. It's very easy, very simple, but it can get kind of a little overwhelming. So 1, 2, 5, 3, 4, just like that. And then as you can see, you can move through the V path. It's very, very easy. After you have done this, your 5th skill will be on a huge cooldown. There's a huge cooldown. So while you wait for the cooldown, you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's it. And then when you have your tier 3 and tier 4 ready, you're just going to do 1, 2, 5, 6, wait until he rises, and then after that 3 and 4. So yeah, that's how to play him. So to repeat the tier 3, tier 4, you're going to do 1, 2, 5, 6, wait until he rises, and then 7, 3, 4. It's simple, and you will be able to get the hang of it. So yeah, this is how you would play him, just like this. And then there you go. That's how you can play Doctor Strange. It's very easy, very fun, and of course, because he's a native tier 2 but a single cost, he's of course going to be a very good option for you to build, considering how he's going to be cheap. So yeah, that is of course another character that you can get. The next character, it is of course going to be Storm. No need for any introduction for her either. For Storm, of course, you're going to need to get her latest uniform, that being the X-Men 97. And then as for her custom gear, she has 2, as far as I recall, she has 2 CTPs that you can give her. That being, of course, a rage, and that being a competition. However, do keep in mind, as I have mentioned for Mephisto, competition will need to be a mighty. As you can see, I've given her a normal competition, but that is just because I am trying to, I'm just trying to get anything for her at the moment. Even though a normal competition is not recommended, I'm just trying to get as much score as possible with her. So yeah, a CTP of competition or a CTP of rage. Of course, the competition has to be mighty, and the rage can be normal. Her artifact is of course, a crazy of elemental damage, same as that of Mephisto. Of course, it's a good artifact for you to have. ISO set, of course, the same, the first 3. The type enhance, of course, level 4 is the sweet spot. Anything higher is, of course, really good. Her skill, is of course going to be order. So yeah, as you can see, I've given her Gambit. Of course, any order character like Beta Ray Bill, Wolverine, and so on and so forth will work, of course, right here. So yeah, of course, for character gear, you're going to give her energy because, as you can see, her damage type is energy attack. So yeah, of course, same stats to max out, yada yada yada. All of them will have the same thing. I'm only going to tell you what CTP you're going to give and if the artifact is going to be needed or not. As for her rotation is also simple. It is 3, cancel to 5, cancel to 4, and then when you have your 6, like tier 3, sorry, you're going to do the same thing, but at 6, and then after that, cancel to 1 and 2. So yeah, this is how you play it. 3, wait until this pops up, and then after that, it's like this, 3, 5, 4. 3, you're going to just have a small delay, maybe like a 0.5 or 1 second. So as soon as the screen changes black and then the thunder strikes, you're going to go 3, 5, 4, and then of course you're going to do 1, 2 so that you can charge your tier 3 and tier 4. So yeah, when you get your tier 3, tier 4 ready, tier 4 can be used whenever. So you're going to do the same thing, and then go to here, wait until she rises, and then 1 and 2, and then you can go ahead and use the tiers 4 whenever you want. So it's simple, easy, and she's of course a very, very reliable character. So yeah, that is for Storm. The next character in the list, I forgot to mention, of course, Storm is a mutant character. However, she is not a premium, so you can get her in any selector. She's of course a native tier 1, so she's going to be cheap for a new players to build. Of course, she is recommended to new players. She is recommended to everyone you will be seeing. So everyone will recommend you Storm. Storm is very, very good. The next character, it is of course going to be Venom. So Venom is of course a very reliable character as well, the best in his typing. You will need to of course wait for the upcoming update that we're going to have for Marvel Rivals, where I will of course test Venom on day 1 and tell you my thoughts on him. But at the moment, you can either buy this one or you can wait for his other one to see what is going to happen, because this one is already meta. Like, this one is already really, really good, so I do not know what they're going to do for the other one. However, his latest tier form is of course going to be the War Star. His CTP of choice, it is of course going to be a Rage, nothing else, no alternative. His artifact is increasing basic damage and increasing max HP. Of course, it is of a nice thing to have. However, if you do not, it's not required. As I said, we already know type, we already know. And for the tier 4, you're going to give him Cruelty. So yeah, Cruelty characters, as you can see, because for his base uniform, it is on Villain, hence why it is taking Cruelty. So as you can see, for Carnage, Carnage of course is going to work because he is a villain, but because Venom's base uniform is a villain, then you are going to use Cruelty. So yeah, of course, for his gears, you're going to go for physical attack. As you can see, it says physical attack. So you're going to give him any physical attack, any physical attack Ooze, any physical attacks Odins, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that is for Venom's build. And now for his rotation is simple as well. It's not too complicated. His rotation, it is 5 delay cancel to 3, delay cancel, 5 delay cancel into 3, and then cancel into 4. So as you can see, you're going to cancel as soon as he stomps the ground, and then cancel to 3, and then cancel directly to 4. So yeah, let's show you this again. He stomps his legs, and then after that you can go ahead and move around, because it's also a V-pad. For you to know if you've done the rotation correctly, you can see that as you can see, I did this too soon. There is no spikes that pops up. However, when I wait until he stomps the ground, as you can see, there are spikes that pops up. So when those pop up, you've done the rotation correctly. When you have your tier 3, tier 4 ready, you're going to do 7, then tier 3, delay cancel into 5, and then after that, the same rotation. So you're going to wait until he goes into the ground changes, and then after that, you can go ahead and go to your V-pad. To know that you've done this correctly, Venom's head would pop up. So to do this again, you're going to go tier 4 and then tier 3, wait until he goes into the ground, and then 5 delay cancel into 3, and then cancel to 4. As you can see, when Venom's head pop up, you have done this correctly. He is a native tier 1, of course, and he's very, very cheap, and his biometrics are easily obtainable. So yeah, you can go ahead and, of course, get him as a new player, free-to-play player. He's really, really good. The next character, it is Gamora. Now, this is a little controversial. However, Gamora, after the new Alliance Battle Extreme and Legends Day, Gamora has taken every day that Luna has, and she's been doing them better than Luna. So we have to wait until Luna's Marvel Rivals one to pop up to see how she does there. But other than that, currently in the current movement, Gamora is a better option for you in Alliance Battle Extreme and Legends. So yeah, her latest uniform being the Wastelander. It's her CTP of choice. She has two CTPs. As you can see, I've given her a mighty CTP of energy. However, her other CTP, it is a rage. Now, I do recommend you put a rage over an energy, because not only rage is going to be easier to proc, she is of course going to perform a lot better in Alliance Battle Extreme and Legends. So yeah, make sure to give her a CTP of rage in my opinion. Her artifact, as you can see, is of course increasing damage dealt to enemies with 50% HP or below, and ignores target's dodge rate by 20%. And this one is of course another CTP artifact where if you have or not, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference considering this is Alliance Battle, Extreme, and Legends. As I said, it's the same typing, is the same. For her skill, it is of course going to be Order. So basically Thor, Beta Ray Bill, Wolverine, and all those. I've given her Thor, so yeah, because he is also an Order. As for what damage she does, she's of course going to be dealing physical damage, so you're going to give her physical Urus and Odins and whatnot. Sorry about that. So yeah, and of course you're going to max out all of these. I do not need to repeat them constantly. So yeah, that is for Gamora's build. As to how you play her, her rotation is very, very, very easy. You're going to do 6, cancel to 3, delay, cancel to 4, and then 5. So 6, cancel 3 when she shoots, and then 4 and 5. Very, very easy. So yeah, 6, 3, wait until she shoots, 4 and 5, and then 7 can be used whenever. Very easy, very, very easy, and I highly recommend you get Gamora as well. So yeah, she's a very easy character to play, and overall, she's very, very recommended. Of course, when you do not have your transfer potential, you're just going to do 3, 4, 5. Simple. So yeah, this is how to play Gamora, and she's very worth it. She's of course a native tier 1, her biometrics are very easy to acquire, and I do recommend you building her. The next character, it is of course going to be Ghost Rider. Now for Ghost Rider, it is slightly little controversial, because he is good for Alliance Battle Extreme and Legends, but of course he does not have any specific day for him. So yeah, you can of course build him, latest uniform, a rage CTP and whatnot, so on and so forth, but he's not going to be like one of those, oh, I need to have him for a certain day. He does not have a locked day where you have to use him over other alternatives. He's still good for World Boss Legends because he still has specific days made for him, hence why he's meta. However, for when it comes to Alliance Battle Extreme and Legends, he is good, but he's not one where you can where you need to have him so that you can replace other alternatives. So yeah. The next character that is worth it, however, it is of course going to be Winter Soldier's Revolution uniform. So for Winter Soldier, you're going to get his Revolutions uniform. Why? Because for his revolution changes him to a combat supervillain, which already makes him the best in that typing, in that category. His latest one, it is good. However, personally, I wouldn't recommend you get him, considering how his main use for this one, it is going to be World Boss Legends. However, we already have Miles for World Boss Legends to do it. But when it comes to combat supervillain, we do not have any high metas anymore except his revolution. Of course, we have Carnage, Captain America, Hulk, etc., etc., but none of them can come close to how good Winter Soldier can be. So yeah, for Winter Soldier, of course, you're going to go with his revolution uniform. CTP of choice, it is of course going to be none other than the CTP of Rage. For his artifact, as you can see, it increases basic damage dealt to superheroes and supervillains by 20%. Of course, it is going to be another CTP where if you get it, it is of course going to be a plus side, but if you do not get it, it's not really required. As I said, we already know typing, we already know. For his tier 4 skill, as you can see, I do not have him tier 4. However, you can go into here, into info. As you can see, his instinct is justice. So you're going to need justice-based characters to be placed with him. So yeah, for justice characters, no, she's order for Black Panther, for example. Black Panther, he's a justice character, Ghost Rider is a justice character, etc., etc. So yeah. That is for his tier 4. As for the damage type, of course, it's going to be physical attack. So yeah, that is for generally his build. Now for his rotation, it is going to be the following. It is 5 delay cancel into 3 and then cancel into 4. You're going to cancel 5 when he shoots the rocket. So as you can see, he shot it and then 3, 4. That's his rotation. So rotation is very, very simple. And when you have your tier 3, tier 4 ready, for the tier 3, wait until the gunfires start, and then after that, you're going to do the same rotation. 5 cancel, delay cancel into 3, cancel into 4. So as you can see, the gunfires have started, and then you can go ahead and start. You can use tier 4 whenever you want. So yeah, to do this again, as you can see, as soon as the helicopter shows up, there's shootings, and then after that 4, because I do not know why the cooldowns are like that. But yeah, it's very simple, very easy, and of course he's highly recommended. He's a native tier 1, his biometrics are easy to acquire as well, so you do not need to worry about getting him. So yeah, he's very recommended, and I highly do advise you to get him as a free-to-play meta, etc, etc. So yeah, that is for the character. For the next character, it is of course going to be Scarlet Witch. For Scarlet Witch, she has 2 uniforms, of course her hero and her villain. Both of these are both very, very good for World Boss Legends and of course Alliance Battle Extreme and Legends. To build her, of course, you're going to get either one of these. Preferably you'd get both of them. But if you get either the Venom or the the villain or the hero, it does not matter. They're both very, very good. For her CTP, it is of course going to be none other than the CTP of Rage. For her artifact, it is increasing basic damage dealt to heroes and villains. That is the same as the Winter Soldier, which is, of course, a good thing to have. But if you do not have it, it is not a required artifact for you to get. So yeah. As for the ISO set, of course, we've said the ISO set, typing, skills, etc., etc. For who you're going to put, it is of course going to be an order, so Beta Ray Bill, Thor, etc., etc. For what she does energy attack, as you can see, energy attack, but I'm going to swap into these so that I do not, of course, make this mistake. As you can see, she deals mind damage, so that is going to be energy attack. Same goes to this one. Both of them are energy attack. So yeah, that is for her build. Keep in mind, she is in World Boss Ultimate, sorry. So you're going to need to get her from World Boss Ultimate, if I am not mistaken. Let me go ahead and check. I'm going to go to Ultimate, and as you can see, there she is. That's where you get your biometrics from. So yeah, you get them from World Boss Ultimate. You're going to, I think, need to do it 20. It's either 10 or 20. I'm certain it's 10, but I could be slightly wrong, because I've purchased this one. Back then, Future Fight did put this for around, I think, 2 million, so I bought it. It was a very easy purchase for me to get. So yeah, that is how her build is going to be. Now for her skill, I'm going to show you for both her her hero and her villain. So we're going to go swap to Scarlet Witch. Here's Scarlet Witch, and we're going to do her hero first, and then after that we can do her villain. For her hero, you are going to do 5 cancel to 3, cancel to 2, delay cancel into 1, delay cancel into 4. So yeah, this is how you're going to do it. So we're going to do 5, 3, 2, and then wait until this happens, and then 1, and then after that you're going to go to 3. Slightly complicated, but you're going to get the hang of it soon enough. So 5, 3, 2, wait until this happens, and then 1, wait until the head pops up, and then there you go. That's how you can go ahead and play her hero version. As for her tier 3, it is going to be the exact same rotation, except you just add the tier 3 in the beginning. So you're going to do this, wait until she pounces on the ground, and then 5, 3, 2, and then 1, 4. So yeah, I know it's a slightly complicated and it's not too clear because it's slightly confusing, but that's as good as I can try to explain it, because she's already a complicated character as is to play, but she's really, really good. So yeah, as soon as you get the hang of it, she's going to be one of your best. For the next uniform, it is of course going to be her super villain, which is this one, the Marvel Rivals Zombies. Her zombies, it is 2 cancel to 3, cancel to 4, cancel to 1, and then cancel to 5. It's simple. So 2, 3, 4, 1, 5. 2, 3, 4, 1, 5. Just like this. That's how you play Scarlet Witch's villain uniform. As for her, when you have her tier 3 ready, you just add the tier 3 in the beginning and then wait until she bounces onto the ground, and then after that 2, 3, 4, 1, 5. So wait until she comes here, 2, 3, 4, 1, 5, and then you can use 7 whenever. I usually use 7 at the end of the rotation. So yeah. Preferably speaking, you should use the 6 when there's only around 2 seconds left on skill 5. But right now I cannot show you the amount of duration because I have the skill cooldown disabled, and if I turn on skill cooldown, it's going to be like in 10s and 20 seconds, so it's not going to be ideal for me to show you how to do it in here. So yeah, that is for the next character. Now, after this, there is one character that is strictly for World Boss as for Alliance Battle, and then after that, we're going to move into, of course, just the Alliance Battle characters. So that is, of course, going to be, Madeline Pryor, her. I do not have her, however, her latest uniform, it's good for World Boss, Alliance Battle Extreme. She only has 1 day, just 1 day. The reason that she's meta is because of that 1 day. So yeah, that 1 day being Blast Mutant, if I'm not mistaken, or Villain Mutant, or Blast Villain. I cannot exactly remember, but she shares that day with Magneto. So you're going to want to get her if you do not have Magneto, or you want a very, very good option, the best option for that day. The best option being, of course, Madeline Pryor. So for Madeline Pryor, of course, we're going to go over to her stats. Of course, because she's an Alliance Battle Extreme character, she is going to be needing a CDP of Rage. And she's, of course, a PvP character as well. So you can go ahead and use her. As you can see, she's a PvP character. You can use her for PvP if you want to. If you're going to need her artifact. Keep in mind, she's also a seasonal. And behind a epic quest. So yeah, as you can see, she deals cold damage, and because she deals cold damage, you're going to be providing her with energy, Urus, and Otins, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that is for Madeline Pryor. I'm going to need her latest uniform, and she's a native tier 2 double cost, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, onto her skill. I do not know her exact skill, so I would just recommend you try to use the practice combo or watch someone like Bob Sarge for you to know her best combo. But for her best combo, it is 3-5-4. So yeah, as you can see, there's some delays between 3 and 5, so you're going to try to master it whenever you can. Do not have her exact rotation, but I would recommend that you use the one that Future Fight already has built in. When you have your tier 4 ready, you can use tier 4 whenever you need. So yeah, that is for Madeline Pryor. She's very good for those that pay a lot of money already on Future Fight. As for free-to-play players, your best option is going to be Magneto for that day. And for new players, you do not need her just yet. Or if you're going to try to spend money, you can get her, but first you're going to need, of course, your 5 World Boss Legends clears, and then after that you can go ahead and see if Madeline Pryor fits your budget. So yeah, that is for Madeline Pryor. The next character, it is of course going to be, Loki. Of course, Loki, he's going to have both his Marvel Studios Loki's uniform and of course his new Young Avengers. So it is a villain and then a hero. His CTP of choice is of course going to be a CTP of Rage. His artifact, as far as I know, it is not a something that, yes, as you can see, increases basic damage by, so this is basically a mini Rage that you're going to have in as an artifact. So yeah, if you have it or not, it does not matter. I just said this is the same type, it's the same, you know the rest. So yeah, as for his, what damage he does energy attack, so energy Urus and so on and so forth. As for his tier 4 striker, it is going to be a destruction, so null, etc., etc. As for their rotations, so for the rotations, you're just going to try to use the one that Future Fight already has provided, because he can get very, very confusing. So you're going to just use whatever Future Fight has provided for you. So as you can see, 6, 5, 4, and then add 3, of course, on top of it. So 6, 5, 4, and then you can go ahead and add 3 on top of it. So yeah, that is for his Young Avengers. So 6, 5, 4, and then 3, just like that. For some reason, my 3 is not activating, but you get the idea. 6, 5, 4, 3. That's for his rotation. His tier 4 can be used whenever you need. As for his other one, the TVA one, this one, sorry. Of course, we're going to follow just the Future Fight provided combo, and it is going to be the same exact one. So yeah, 6, 5, 4, and then 3. So yeah, of course, if you want to get the best out of it, you're going to try to find someone like Bob Sarge to give you the absolute best rotation for him. I'm only showing you the Future Fight one because, again, he gets really, really confusing and complicated. So do keep that in mind. The next character, it is Gambit. Gambit is a really good Alliance Battle Extreme and Legends character. He's really good, and of course I do recommend him. His latest uniform, it is a seasonal crystal wall, not paywall. His CTP of choice, it is of course going to be the CTP of Rage. His artifact, if you have it, it is of course going to be great. It increases basic damage dealt to villains and aliens. It's really good. But if you do not have it, it's of course not required. His ISO set, we already know all of these we already know. As for his tier 4 striker, it is of course going to be an order. As for the damage type that he does an energy attack, so you're going to give him energy-based Urus and Odins and so on and so forth. So yeah. As for his rotation is as followed. For his rotation, you're going to do 4, delay cancel to 3, cancel to 6, cancel to 5. So you're going to cancel 4 when he places the stick on the ground. So just like this, and then 3, 6, 5, and then tier 4. It's very easy, very simple. And when you do not have your Transap Potential skill ready, you just do 4, 3, 5. Simple. It's not too confusing, not too complicated, and he's a very easy and very fun character. So yeah, I do recommend you try to get him as a new player, not as a new player, sorry, as a veteran who's spending money. And for the new players, you can go ahead and get him if you have the funds for him. Of course, that's speaking after you already got the metas and so on and so forth. As for free-to-play players, of course, he is a very viable option. The next and I guess the final option that I can put here, or I might just add another character on top of the one that I'm going to be talking about. The next option, it is of course going to be Bullseye. Bullseye is a very good character as well. His uniform, it is going to be his Wastelander. His CTP of choice, it is going to be the CTP of Rage. His artifact, it is a, as you can see, 80% chance to increase basic critical damage. It is of course good, but not required to have if you do not have it. ISO set, of course, the theory, we already know about types, skills, etc., etc. As for what type of tier 4, it is cruelty, so venom, carnage, etc., etc. As for his skill, we will use the one that Marvel Future Fight has already provided for us. So inside of the practice combo, you are going to be following the following. So 6, 5, and then 3, 4. And then you can use tier 4 whenever you need. So 6, 5, 3, 4. And then when you do not have your chance up potential, this is going to be 5, 3, 4. So yeah, as you can see, 6, 5, 3, 4. And then when you do not have the transcendent potential ready, you're going to just do 5, 3, 4. Simple and easy as that. So yeah, that is for Bullseye. The next and final character, of course, there is a lot more characters. I will talk about them, but I will not provide builds about them because it's going to get it's being a very long video. So I'm just going to be providing the rest of them. But as for showing rotations and whatnot, I'm not going to be showing it because it would get way too long. Of course, the next character and the final one, it is Crescent. The reason that Crescent is meta is, of course, because of that one combat villain day. Combat female day. The combat female day, it is going to be, of course, for Crescent, and for the free-to-play options, of course, going to be Nebula, but Crescent, it is going to be the best one that there is. For her build, it is, of course, going to be the seasonal paywall. Her CTP of choice, it is going to be the Rage. Her artifact is a increase to damage to superhero and villains. It's good to have, not required. We know about ISO sets and so on and so forth. She does physical attack damage, and so you're going to give her physical damage, Urus and Odins. She's Justice, so Black Panther, Ghost Rider, etc., for her tier 4. And yeah, for her rotation, it is, I'm going to be showing you again the one that Future Fight has provided for us. However, you're going to try to get Future Fight already does not have that provided for us. So I'm going to try to get a rotation for you. However, of course, it is recommended that you try to get it from someone like Bob Sarge or another Alliance Battle Extreme and Legends master. For her rotation, it is slightly complicated. So it is 1-5, delay cancel to 3-4, and then 1-2. And then when she has her tier 4 ready, it is 3, cancel to 4, cancel to 5, delay cancel to 6. So yeah, her rotation is 1-5, wait until the ribbon is down, and then 3-4. So yeah, let me show you this again. 1-5, and then 3-4. I do not know why she's confusing right now, but that's how you play her. I've never played her, so bear with. So 1-5, and then 3-4. That's for her rotation. I'm assuming it's because we have to do 2, but generally speaking, that's how you're going to play her. I'm not a master and rotations, but I do not know why her rotation is really weird like this. But yeah, generally speaking, try to get it from someone like Bob Sarge. They're going to know a lot more than I do. I'm right now just showing you who's the best. But as for rotations, I've already provided for most of them. The ones that I have said for Marvel Future Fight, it's because I'm not 100% certain and I do not want to give you the wrong info. But you can go ahead and get them from players like Bob Sarge, or you can ask other Discord servers to see which ones are going to give you some rotations. So yeah, generally speaking, that is all. However, the rest of them that we have, it is going to be, of course, Ares on a swap play meta, Hades, and then Gladiator for that one Alliance Battle Extreme and Legends day, Invisible Woman for that Blast female, Crystal, the new one that we got, and of course Kamala Khan. So yeah, these are all that I'm going to be telling you. Of course, they're all going to be rage characters. None of them are going to have competition like the previous ones. And of course, you can go ahead and know what type of damage that they deal by just looking below the level. As you can see, Mephisto says energy attack, physical attack, and so on and so forth. That's how you find out what kind of damage they deal. So yeah, this video has gotten really long, and I do apologize that it got really long, but I was trying to provide the best amount for any Alliance Battle Extreme and Legends characters. I wanted to give you a lot of options, a lot of variety, so yeah, do look into it, see which ones are going to fit your budgets, which ones are going to be good for you, and yeah, that is all for today's video. If you guys have enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and let me know down below what other videos you want to see. I'll see you all in the very next video. Goodbye.